the Sleep Box and Repeat. Nice to be joined again by Paul Kelly for another weekly betting tips show. Paul, as we mentioned our previous day, got a double header as well as a couple of fights going on outside the UK this week. So that means lots of betting tips for us to get wrong or right and lots for us to talk about. But yeah, thank you for joining me, and yeah, looking forward to hearing what your tips are for this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the boxing this week, as we were saying yesterday. It's going to be, we've got quite a lot, whether that's 2 UK shows on Saturday and Sunday, as well as shows all around the world. It's a good time for boxing again.
Yeah, back to normality, maybe.
Yeah.
Cool. Don't know how many tips you've got this week. Haven't even asked you, but we will assume you've got at least one. So I will go to you first. What is your first tip this weekend?
So my first tip comes from the big super lightweight clash between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall, and I think that this is, although I think Josh Taylor is the deserving favourite, I think this fight is closer than people making it out to be. I think Jack Catterall's tough. I think he's going to be tricky, maybe quite awkward for Taylor to work out, which makes me think that it could go the distance. So Josh Taylor to win via unanimous decisions, 15-8, just short of 2-1. So that's my first one. I can really see Catterall going the distance in this fight. I could see it being quite a cagey affair, definitely early on as well. First half of the fight wouldn't surprise me if it was 4-2 to Taylor or whatever, 3 apiece, but like not a whole lot of action taking place. I think Taylor will end up he'll be working out the Catterall puzzle, and he will beat him. But I have a feeling that it could go the full 12 rounds, to be honest with you.
Interesting. There's lots of stuff to talk about here. I think Josh Taylor, as we know, is undefeated. So is Jack Catterall. Josh Taylor, when he fought Regis Prograis, when he fought Ramirez, both those fights went the distance. We know Catterall's a tricky customer, so perhaps this will go the distance. It's going to be really interesting to find out. So yeah, wouldn't mind backing that one myself. I'll go next. Going for kind of similar tip to you. The other big fight in the UK this week, Lawrence Okolie, Michael Cieslak. Michael Cieslak's only lost one fight to Makabu. Makabu is arguably the biggest puncher in the division, and he actually went the distance with Makabu. So I think if he's going the distance with Makabu, why can't he go the distance with Okolie? I'm not saying he's definitely going to lose and go the distance, by the way. I just think, personally, there's a good chance this fight goes the distance. This is the toughest fight of Lawrence Okolie's career. I think he's going to win it, but it's not going to be like the Glowacki fight when he just beat him up for 6 rounds and then the fight was ended. So Okolie is actually 3-1 to win on points, is the bet I've seen. And I think that is a better tip than yours if we're being competitive about this. I think 3-1 Okolie on points. I think we're going to see how good Lawrence Okolie really is here. And personally, it's not even a betting tip, it's actually a prediction. I think Lawrence Okolie will win on points. So we'll see. Any thoughts on that one?
Putting your neck out on the line, I like it. Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. That's quite funny because I've got a tip for that, a bet for that fight, which I'll come on to later. But no, I completely agree with what you're saying. Obviously, we did a video with the Polish journalist Kasper as well, who was saying about Cieslak. He's kind of waxing lyrical about him, and don't get me wrong, I think it will be one of the trickiest fights of Lawrence Okolie's career. But yeah, I could see it. But I will, just to throw a spanner in the works, completely disagree with you. And I wouldn't back this as a standalone, but one of the trebles I'll mention later, I was gonna have Okolie by TKO KO, because I think you can get it at 8-11. Which I think is quite a good price, because I do feel like he'll break him down and stop him. But that Makabu fight for Cieslak was however many years ago now. It was a good while ago. He hasn't been exactly active. He's had 1 round, I think, and it was a 1-round blowout in the past 15 months. That's no use when you want to go in against arguably the biggest puncher and biggest stature of a cruiserweight in the division. So that would have been, I'm going to throw that in as one of mine. I mean, if you want to back it as 8-11 by itself, but it was more going to be, to enhance a treble or a double.
Fantastic. Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one, and we'll see what happens on Sunday night, not Saturday night, Sunday night. Cool. I have one more. I've got a fight that's happening abroad this week, which we discussed in a preview as well. Victor Postel against Gary Antoine Russell. Not Gary Russell Jr., in case anyone's confused. It's Gary Russell Jr.'s brother, who is 14-0, 14 knockouts. He is fighting Victor Postel, who we know has gone up against Josh Taylor and Terence Crawford as well. Good fact about Postel actually is he's the only man to, at 140 pounds, to go the distance with Terence Crawford. Everyone else who Terence Crawford went up against at 140, he stopped. So I think that's, an achievement itself, but rate Postel highly. I think he's still a world level fighter, lost his last fight via majority decision against Jose Ramirez, who was world champion at the time. Bookies are offering Postel just to win at 9-2. Again, like it's similar to the Okolie bet. Betting tips aside, I just think prediction-wise, I would possibly lean towards Postel. I think Russell's clearly a talent, big puncher, but he's not been in with top operators just yet. I think Postel's still a big step up. It maybe just depends. Postel must be of a certain age now, so it kind of maybe depends what he has left and whether he's in decline or not. But that's another one from me, Postel to win at 9-2.
Yeah, I think that's a great bet. I know when we mentioned this, I couldn't believe that price, really. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Gary Antoine Russell being the favourite. Yeah, I can see that. But by that margin, crazy, in my opinion. So yeah, I think that's a very good bet. That'll lead me on to, I've already mentioned the Okolie one that I would put in the treble. The other two I would put in with the Okolie, KO, TKO is, so Anthony Fowler's making his middleweight debut. I think he'll want to get rounds. I think he'll beat the guy. I think he'll be wanting to see how he feels at the new weight. And I think Anthony Fowler to win by a decision at 11-8 is quite a good bet. I can see it, and it's a 10-rounder, it's not a 12-rounder. So I could see it going the distance. And my biggest one of the weekend, to be quite honest with you, it's at a price of 21-20, so just better than evens. But if you want to double your money, get the house on this one. I think Jordan Gill decision is an absolute banker. I'm going to say that it's an absolute banker because, in my opinion, there's no way he'll stop Guerfi, but I think he'll win. And just Gill to win via decision at 21-20 is incredible for me.
Yeah, I'd agree. I hadn't seen the odds, but I'm surprised at that. I think people are obviously reading a lot into the fact that Guerfi got stopped by Lee McGregor in a round, but Lee McGregor and Jordan Gill were two completely different fighters. No, you know what? I'll be putting. Now you sold it to me, to be honest, as just like a separate bet. I think that's good if you consider Gill. I'd rate Jordan Gill highly, but he's not a puncher. I think he'd admit that. He'd admit that himself. Yeah. So yeah, no, good bet, mate. Fine. Excited for this. Excited for what your bets add up to. I'll go first, just to confirm. Okolie points, Postel to win, £10 returns you £220 this week. So I'll be doing that personally, and we will see. But those are just the double Sunday, the early hours of Sunday morning, and then Sunday night as well. But yeah, looking forward to it. What are your bets adding up to, Paul?
So I've gone two different bets. The treble that I mentioned, the Gill points, Fowler points, and Okolie KO, which obviously you wouldn't be backing because you're not big on the Okolie knockout. If you went for that, it's just over 7-1. So £10 would return you, you're including your stake, £80, just over that, £85 or so, which I think is quite good because I do think the Gill one's an absolute banker, to be honest with you. And then the other one I've gone for is Taylor unanimous decision and Gill unanimous decision. Double. So obviously this is really dependent on how you think the Josh Taylor fight will go, because I know he's a big favourite to knock him out as well. I think that the bookies think that seems to be quite likely, but I don't personally. But yeah, Taylor on unanimous decision and Gill unanimous decision is 6-1. Okay. So yeah, you're all including your stake, you're getting £70 back there. For me, I really like both of them. However, yours is kind of trumped mine with £220.
Nah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yours is better than mine if your one wins, right? We'll see. All right, cool. Good chat, mate. lots to discuss, and we will see the results of those tips. But yeah, thanks for joining me again, mate. Next week we have Roman Gonzalez against the little Mexican man who I've forgotten the name of.
Julio Cesar Martinez.
I know you did a video on him yesterday. That's why you can remember. But yeah, a couple others going on as well. But yeah, looking forward to discussing that next week as well as previewing it. But yeah, thanks again, Paul, and we will speak again next week.